Hey guys, I am back in Lincoln, which is super exciting. Dr. Lasasso gave me the thumbs up to come back, and it's actually a week earlier than he normally recommends for patients who come from out of state to travel back home. So that is because I'm doing so well in my recovery. And anyway, so really exciting to get out of the hotel room or building and come back and see everyone. Sorry, I have this on a surface that is kind of slippery. Anyway, ooh, so is the blanket on a slippery surface. I don't like this headboard. Just kidding, Mom, I love it. Whatever, there it is. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I'm on a lot of medicine, so forgive me if I'm all over the place. Uh, yeah, what, I guess, I kind of wanted to talk about like more specifics about my experience after surgery. And I know a lot of updates were given during it and afterwards about, how I'm doing in general and whatnot. But I personally haven't kind of like talked about like the actual experience of it, which I was trying to find stories of people my age who had the Nuss procedure done before I had it done so that I could see what it, possibly could, would be like. But there aren't a lot of stories because usually people who have this surgery done are like in their teenage or in their teens, because it's recommended for you to have it done when you're between like 12 and 18 years old, because your sternum is a lot more, it hasn't ossified yet, which means it hasn't turned into what, more bone-like. It's not as stiff. So anyway, there aren't a lot of people who get it when they're my age. It's a lot more painful, and more complications can happen, and that kind of thing. And it's a lot harder to organize time off of work and that kind of thing. So anyway, so I would like to share like more of, the actual story. So, or my experience of it. So when they took me to anesthesia, they had a hard time getting the it wasn't technically an epidural. They had been calling it an epidural, but it's not an epidural. They stuck these, they call them catheters, which is usually for something else, but anyway, they put these needles in your back. I had one on each side of my spine, so where they put now I'm gonna forget what it's called. Bupivacaine? I don't know. Anyway, something where they numb the chest, and they were having an issue with it because my skin was too thick or something, so they like had to attempt it 3 different times, and it was really awful. And anyway, the next thing I knew, I was waking up from surgery, which I thought was like earlier than I was supposed to be waking up, so I was freaking out for a minute. And anyway, but then of course they told me nope, I was fine, surgery was over, and I did great. And I actually, so one of the things that I had said on Facebook was that I was really excited for when I woke up to be able to have that first breath where you like feel like you have, actually like taken a real breath for the first time. And this was not the case at all. In fact, it hurt really bad to breathe, and I couldn't breathe very deep at all, which in my first video update that I posted, it was like every word I had to take a breath, just like I was speaking really slowly, or I spoke really like each breath or each word or two I had like to breathe in and take a breath for, because I only had enough, like I could only breathe in far enough or hard enough to get out one or two words with that amount of air that was in my lungs. Anyway, so I was really freaking out because I thought that something horrible had gone wrong, and they put an oxygen mask on me and gave me some more pain meds or something. And so anyway, that felt better, and I don't think I actually passed out or anything. I didn't get much sleep that night. But anyway, the breathing got a little better, but it still was painful this whole time. It's actually been painful, but it's gotten better every day, and like significantly better. Like each day after surgery, I felt 10 times better than I felt the day before, which doesn't mean that I felt amazing any day. It's just like the first like 4 or 5 days after surgery, I felt awful. And part of it is that I was on this bed, and because my chest and my arms, I couldn't do anything with them. Like the bed was super uncomfortable, and I would slide down it, and my arms are so long. And I feel like anyone who, if you slid down this bed at all, like I couldn't reach the button where you adjust, like how the bed is positioned. And so I couldn't reach it. So anytime I needed the bed adjusted, which was like every 10 minutes, because I was really uncomfortable in that bed, I had to call a nurse to come in, and 2 nurses would have to go on each side of me to lift the bed sheet up and that I was laying on top of, and to lift me up the bed to where I was supposed to be. Anyway, so that was not fun. So then by day, I think it was day 2 after surgery, one of my videos I said that I had gotten up and I was supposed to only dangle my feet at the end of the bed, but I actually did that, and then I also stood up, which was the goal for day 3. And in addition to standing up on day 2, I also took a few steps. So that was way more than I was expected to do at that point. And then I also ate not a full meal, but like a decent meal 2 days after surgery, and then was eating, better and better each day after that, which was not expected, and which was a good thing and a bad thing, because it was good because I kept it down, and it meant that, I don't know, it was a sign that I was recovering well. But if you know much about anesthesia, you can get really constipated, and I did. And I guess I talked about this in my one update, so I apologize if you already watched that one. But I was super constipated, and it was the entire time, and I'm still having issues with that because of the pain meds that I'm still on. Anyway, that was the reason for some of the nights that I couldn't sleep, so that was pretty awful. Anyway, yeah, so I still have some swelling. I don't know how well you can see. This side's actually really bad, and this side is where the stabilizer is. So the bar goes straight across here, just under my nipple line, and then on this side is the stabilizer. So the bar is straight across here, and then the stabilizer is also a metal piece. I'm getting a muscle spasm. That is vertical. That goes. It's just right there, and they like adhere it somehow to your ribs. And so that's usually wherever the stabilizer is. Sometimes you do it on both sides, but Dr. Lasasso only does it on one side. And that usually is the side that hurts more so. Or if you have it on both, then both sides hurt more than usual. But anyway, I just have one stabilizer on my left side, and it's been hurting pretty bad. And as you can see, it's pretty swollen. And it even goes up to the back, and there's no metal in the back, but it's still swollen back there. If I move my arm too much, I get really painful muscle spasms that it just feels like it's a very located or very specific spot, isolated spot that's just this very pinching, stabbing pain that I'm either getting used to it or it's maybe getting a little bit better. They doubled my muscle relaxer med because it was so bad and I could hardly do certain movements at all. In fact, even when I touch it back here, it's really tender. But it's also so that's really common, and it's one of the more common things that happen after the Nuss procedure is muscle spasms. And actually, since I've the last couple of days there, and since I've been back, my ribs are starting to hurt, which they didn't hurt so bad. And one of the interesting things is that I used to have pretty bad rib flare before the surgery, and so when they pushed this out with the bar, I don't know how, but my rib flare is actually not like it used to be. If I were to go up like this, my ribs would stick out really far, but I don't think they stick out nearly as far as they used to, which is really awesome. Medically wise, since I had the surgery, none of my nurses nor Dr. Lasasso can hear my heart murmur at all anymore. You can't hear it through my mouth, which I don't know that none of my doctors particularly seemed medically concerned about that issue, other than it was really bizarre. But anyway, with their stethoscope, there's seemingly no heart murmur anymore. I actually have 2 to 2.5 inches of space between my heart and my sternum now, and I can feel it because I can't feel my heartbeat literally. But I also usually I can I can just sitting here feel my heart sort of beating against my chest, and it's almost odd in a bad way because I'm usually very aware that I have a heart, and now it's where did my heart go? Because I can't feel it doing anything right there. It's just got its space to do what it needs to do, and it's not hitting anything, and I can't feel it hit anything, and it's just weird. But good. I don't know about if I no longer have a right bundle branch block. I haven't seen my cardiologist or anything since surgery, and I don't know. They might wait a while to do any of those tests until I heal more. So with the surgery, they originally were going to put he thought he was going to have to put 2 bars in, and because I'm an adult, he thought he was going to have to use what's called a rule track, which is basically, if you think of I don't remember what an analogy, some kind of a tractor. Anyway, a tow truck. Anyway, so basically what it is they use this hook where they clamp you right here, and then that's attached to this machine called a roll track, where they'll literally crank your chest out before they put the bar in. And they only do that to adults, and that's because adults usually your like I said earlier, your chest is much stiffer, and so when they flip the bar, normally, without doing that on adults, it causes too much damage to the tissue, to your chest wall cavity. But my sternum wasn't that stiff, and because of that, he only had to use one bar, and he didn't have to use the rule track, which apparently is all good, because if he would have had to use 2 bars and the rule track, there would have been more possibilities for complications, and it would have been a more painful recovery. So that is exciting. One of the reasons that my sternum may have been not so stiff is because I possibly have some kind of connective tissue disorder, which is pretty common with people who have severe pectus excavatum. And they don't know what kind of connective tissue disorder. Marfan syndrome is a common one, but I don't currently have a lot of the. I don't have the specific heart issue that is associated with Marfan syndrome that you virtually need to have a diagnosis. Lots of connective tissue disorders are progressive, and so, perhaps down the line, in a few years or 10 years or something, I get that heart issue. It's a dilated aortic root. And then I would fit the criteria for them to be able to say, okay, yeah, Marfan syndrome. Thus far, they've called me Marfanoid, which just means that I appear to have Marfan syndrome, but I don't actually fit all of the criteria. So anyway, that also means that it's probably good that I had the Nuss procedure done now versus when I was a kid, because people who have Marfan syndrome or similar connective tissue disorders, it's recommended for you to not have the Nuss procedure done until you are done with puberty and done growing, and all of that. So that's actually really good that I didn't get it until now. Let's see, Lasasso told me that for the next 3 months, for the next 2 months, my goal is just to walk and do breathing exercises, and that's all I can do. I can't lift more than 5 pounds for the next 2 months, and part of that, I just can't because it hurts. And then the other part is because my bone, so this, right where the, and you can kind of see I still have a little bit of an indent, and that was intentional. If he would have done 2 bars, he was worried that he would overcorrect the deformity, and then it would actually, it's called pigeon-chested or carinatum, carinatum. No, carinatum is the term for when your sternum sticks out. So anyway, it could have turned into that, but he also undercorrected because of the potential for connective tissue disorder. So as a time goes on, and I have the bar still in my chest, it's going to actually continue to sort of correct the deformity. So it already pushed it out a lot of ways, and it looks deeper than it is because my chest is kind of swollen right now. I kind of got some man boobs going on. But anyway, I'm like touching myself a lot. Is that weird? Anyway, so, yeah, ADHD and 3 different kinds of narcotics are making me forget what I was saying. Anyway, I don't know. I guess that's about it for now. Oh yeah, got it. In 2 months, so for 2 months I can't lift more than 5 pounds, and all I can work on is deep breathing and walking. And the reasons for that is walking. I need to do just so that my body isn't, laying around and whatnot. I can't lift more than 5 pounds while this is all still healing, because the bar could easily become displaced right now before my bone has healed around it, and as well as my muscles have healed around it, because they actually created a tunnel underneath the skin and fat and muscle, and so the muscle and all of that stuff, all the tissue and the bone needs to heal around the bar, which will help hold the bar in place before I do anything that could have the potential for displacing the bar, and then it heals in the wrong position. Or it displaces it and it causes severe damage in there, and they have to go in and take it out or redo it, or something horrific that we don't want to happen. Anyway, so then after 2 months, I can start walking on a treadmill and increasing my speed. And the deep breathing I do because one of the things, lung issues is one of the main complications that can happen after the surgery. It's one of the, pneumonia is a big thing that can happen with lots of different kinds of surgeries just after you have something. But with this procedure specifically, coughing I can't do. I cough occasionally, but it hurts really, really bad. And if you cough really hard a lot, the coughing can actually cause it to displace the bar. And laughing hurts really bad. I have to watch I can't watch certain movies if they're really funny because it hurts too much to laugh. I can't. That was one of the things after the surgery. It hurt really bad, and I occasionally wanted to cry because it hurt so bad, but it hurt too bad for my face to do any just so that the crying would have hurt too bad, so I couldn't do that. Anyway, and sneezing is supposed to be 10 times worse than coughing is. And coughing is horrible. And I haven't sneezed yet, and the plan is that I'm not going to sneeze for the next 6 months. I'm putting that energy out there. So I'll not sneeze for 6 months. Everybody, please pray that I don't sneeze for 6 months. That's your job. So after 3 months is when they're going to start me on physical therapy, where I'll actually start to do stuff to regain strength in my chest and my arms, and that'll go for 3 months. So in 3 months, I start physical therapy, and then 3 months after that, so after 6 months, I should be done with physical therapy, and then for the most part done, with the recovery healing process. So anyway, sorry this video is really long, but if you made it through, thank you for listening. Thank you everybody for helping out, and all of your comments on Facebook and text messages and phone calls and messages via the grapevine and everything. I really, really appreciate it, and it was really lonely in San Diego. But it was awesome to be able to read stuff from people, and yeah, I think that I would not have recovered as quickly and as well as I have if I haven't had everybody just been really, really generous, and feeling like I have like a lot of people just rooting for me and supporting me and caring about me, and it's really a really, really good feeling. So thank you. I'm gonna go to bed, hopefully. Last night I slept 8 hours. I think I said that, and it was amazing. I feel so much better, and I'm hoping that tonight is going to do the same thing. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I will update you guys some other time. But so far, everything is going awesome. Apparently, I keep saying apparently because, like, it feels not awesome, but I'm glad that I'm feeling awesome, because I would hate to, or that it's going awesome, because I would hate to know what it feels like when it's not going awesome. But, yeah, okay. Love you all, and I will see you and talk to you later. All right, bye.